Receiving team number 21, 10-yard penalty.
Remaining in the game.
Interference defense number 41.
Automatic first down.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense number 96, 15 yards out. 67 of the offense, 10-yard penalty.
In the game of football, players are hidden behind a helmet and face mask and only identified by the number on their jersey. More oftentimes than not for the negative. This is a look at the player beyond the number. Hi, I'm Coleman Feeley, and welcome to this week's Beyond the Number. We've got Tevinn Cantly here, defensive tackle and fifth-year senior. Tevinn, thanks for joining us. So how you doing?
Doing all right, man.
All right, so why don't we start from the beginning? Where were you born?
I was born in Fort Worth, Texas.
Fort Worth. And now, I know at an early age, your mother found some work in California and you moved out there with your family.
Yes, I did. It was she found a job with Hewlett-Packard out there in the Northern Bay Area, and I mean it was a pretty good job. You know, we were out there. I started school out in California when I was 4, and we just kind of were living out there. It was pretty fun. Nice to live on the beach, good weather.
Yes, but I know there was some trouble. Your landlord of the apartment complex sold it while you were still living there. Is that correct?
Yeah, he decided he was renting most of the apartments to most of the tenants, and then he decided to sell it to another company that was going to buy him, and gave everyone about 30 days to vacate.
Right. Right. That's 30 days is really not enough time to move on and find appropriate housing without a warning. So what did you guys? What happened with that?
Well, for a while we were kind of staying in my mom's car. Me, my brother, and my mom were staying in her Dodge Neon and hotel hopping for around 3 weeks, trying to get accepted into a homeless shelter that was down the road.
Right. Now, at this homeless shelter, I know it was a struggle waiting for it to get in there, but there were, I know that you told me that there was a shared housing program or something like that. You want to tell us about that?
There was a few qualifications you had to meet. You know, you had to, have a well-paying job. You know, you had to be, drug-free. You know, anything that you had to show that you were trying to be a productive citizen. And so my mom, applied for that. They rent out rooms to separate people just to try and get back into society. And so she was applying for that, and we stayed in the shelter for a while until we finally got a room in a house right next to the school that I ended up going to for quite a while.
I mean, that's really impressive. She must have been working real hard to keep you guys going.
Yeah, she definitely always, knew to stay positive, kept working. She always told us that, it's always going to get better. It's never going to, it could get worse, but, you always got to think of it, it's always going to get better.
Right, exactly. And now this whole time you were still in school and playing football, right?
So she made sure that we always stayed in football. I loved it ever since I was a young age. She always helped us get to practice, got us rides, got us equipment that we still needed. She knew that we would need something like that in our lives to help us stay on the right track.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's obviously worked for you, coming here with your full ride scholarship, man. It's very impressive. Now, at what point I know you graduated from Lamar High School in Arlington. Now, at what point did you move back from California to Texas?
I moved there in my 7th grade year during Christmas break. We were looking for apartments in California, but it's really expensive in California at that time. So my mom decided that we would move back to Texas. A lot of our family was here. The houses were a bit cheaper, apartments, stuff like that. So we moved back in with my grandma for about 3 months before we started looking for more apartments.
Mm-hmm. That's it's an impressive story, Tevin. A lot of people, I feel like a lot of people could use that story and as an excuse to not be successful. But you really, you came through it. It's really impressive. Now, I also know that there was another hitch in your recruitment through college. Now, I know that you were recruited by Coach Mendoza, who was here in '07, and then he was fired during your recruitment. Mm-hmm. So how did you end up here at North Texas?
My friend Amber Miller was on the softball team, had a scholarship to go to North Texas, and she told me about it, and she said, hey, well, you should try talking to them. They have a football team. And so about a day later, it just so happened there was a North Texas recruiter in here coming in and was talking to my coach, and I gave him my highlight tape, which was Coach Mendoza. He ended up getting fired about a week later, and so I was kind of stuck. I didn't really know what to do from then on. But luckily, my coach knew the wide receiver coach up here, Coach George, and through him, I ended up getting my highlight tape up here, and it got my recruiting process back on the road.
We're really glad it worked out, man. We're glad to have you for your last year here, and you're right on track to graduate with everything you had. And now I remember freshman year, you had some interesting classes. You took you took Japanese as your foreign language, correct?
Yeah, it was an elective that I wanted to take. It seemed like a good foreign language to have. A lot of businesses, use Japanese as a second language. They do business over there in Japan, so I felt like it would be a good language to learn to help me in my career in the future.
Mm-hmm. Now, I remember no football player had ever taken that class before, so we didn't even have the books on order, right? You had to get them yourselves and then receive the money back through the program, right?
Yes, I did. They didn't really know what to expect when I told them I wanted to take a Japanese class, and so, it took a while to get my books and stuff like that. But, I mean, it was a fun class. I had a good time. I learned a bit. I definitely learned the basics of it. It was definitely something that I don't regret taking.
Mm-hmm. Tevin, we're really glad you came and shared your story with us today. It's a great message you got. You got to stay positive and keep working. We're really, really impressed with the story. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. Thanks for watching. This has been Beyond the Number with Coleman Feeley. Make sure you stay tuned every week for more. Go Mean Green.